Hi friends, welcome back to another Tesla stock weekly analysis. As usual, let's keep it short and let's go to the charts first. Last week was an amazing week for Tesla. It finally shot above $1,000, followed by two different downgrades from two different analysts. I'll cover that later. Let's take a broader look to this entire picture and roughly see where could Tesla eventually drop until. Firstly, the range over here, this first support line which I drew, I don't think this will ever come in play ever again because Tesla broke 100, and for the price to drop all the way down, let's check how many percentage points. Tesla needs to drop about 40% to reach this line again, which I don't think it would ever happen because COVID has just hit us. For a 40% retracement, it is almost impossible. So I'm just going to delete this line and update this chart a little bit. So let's check roughly how far Tesla can go until. So usually sometimes when the stock corrects like unusually high, normally a 20% correction is about there. And if you draw this percentage downwards, you can see it's roughly an 18% drop. So if Tesla were to ever retrace back down, I foresee this blue line here to be a very strong support line, and I don't foresee it going anything lower than this. This also means that this black support line here, which I drew previously, is not in play because for the stock to correct all the way back down here, it is about a 25% retracement drop, and I do not see anything more than a 20% drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit more about this blue line here and how I foresee this is a very strong area of support. You can see that the stock was like playing around this blue line for a little while before it broke this ceiling, this resistance, before it went up on this super strong bull run. This red candle over here, it is not considered broken because you see at the end of the day, the stock ended down lower. For stock price to remain above a resistance line here, you need to see a full green candle above a resistance line. So for this coming week, I foresee Tesla remaining above the blue line, and if it drops near here, I foresee this is a very good place to add. In fact, anything around $900 and below is a good time to add. I get the same question all the time. Is it too high to buy? My take to you, it is never too high to buy, is because our target price is really high up there. You guys know that my target price is a few $1,000s. So if you look at the grand scheme of things, $3,000 is up here, you know, and here to here, it doesn't matter if you buy like here or here or here or here. It doesn't matter because to me, my long-term target is over here. So in the short term, you may get a little bit of drop. It doesn't matter at all. If you guys have seen my portfolio video, you know that a drop from here to here, I would see a minus $100 over $1,000 drop in my portfolio. And yet, despite such large drop, I've done nothing. In fact, if it drops to $800 over dollars here, I'll be really happy because it gives more people more chance to buy in at a cheaper price. Again, I'd like to remind you guys, we cannot control short-term movement. What we can control is invest in a strong company and let the stock price play out over time. I hope the charts has given you clarity. Let's move on to the news, but before that, I would really appreciate a like. It helps a lot out in the channel. In my previous week's video, just before I published my video, two big news came up. The first news was Tesla China selling so many cars, 3 times the amount in April. I was telling you guys from the start, don't worry about the April's numbers because China buyers were holding back on their purchase to wait for May subsidies. So when May subsidies came in, I wouldn't be surprised if the sales has tripled. So this is really amazing news, and this was one of the big causes of Tesla's stock price going up. And adding to that news on Monday causing the stock price to fly so much, Elon mentioned that Tesla Semi reportedly being pushed towards mass production. This is a very classic Elon Musk move. When the Porsche Taycan was released, what he did was he placed the Model S plate edition on the Nürburgring and run laps to be faster than a Porsche Taycan. When Nikola reversed IPO, he mentioned that he's going to push the Semi mass production. So classic Elon Musk move. One thing I like about this news on the Tesla Semi production is that we understand that Tesla had kind of like solved the battery production. Tesla has pushed back the Semi production only because of lack of batteries. They can't seem to make enough. So with this news, we have a very big clue towards Tesla solving battery production capacity issues. And I foresee Battery Investor Day news coming out. I do not know when, but hopefully it comes out soon. I've been like waiting forever for this news. For my German friends buying Tesla, this is an amazing news because you guys are going to get subsidy. So if you look at the cost of a Tesla, it will be listed above 40,000 euros. You're going to get an incentive of 7,500 euros. I'm very happy for my German friends. Just to update you guys about Singapore, I am not going to buy a Tesla in Singapore, or I'm not even going to buy a car. The reason why is that our cars are the most expensive cars in the world, literally the most expensive. So for example, a Tesla may cost 30,000. In Singapore, it will cost you like 300,000. It is a bit mad, and I don't intend to come out a single cent for a car here because it all goes to the government for tax reasons or whatever crap they want to do. So just sharing with you guys that you guys can actually purchase and drive a Tesla, though I can afford one. I just couldn't bring myself to buy a car in Singapore. It is just stupidly expensive. Tesla released an impact report. I'll link it down below. It's a pretty long report, but I'm only interested in two news over here. I mean, they are stating the obvious that the electric car has the least environmental impact. So stating the obvious. The next thing I just want to point out is the battery recycling. Cutting the long story short, basically most of the pre-consumed batteries are 100% recycled, and because one of their oldest cars, the Model S, is only approximately 8 years on the road and the batteries are rated for like 15 over years, so far they're recycling every single battery that comes back into Tesla, and this is the kind of loop that you want to look into. I remember Elon mentioned before that recycling of batteries is much better than buying raw materials because all the battery itself is a mine, everything is inside there, so you just need to extract it, recycle it, rather than go through the whole supply chain of mining. Finally, Tesla legendary investor Ron Barron appeared on CNBC. In this whole 25 minutes interview, he talks about Tesla being able to 20x his money, but so far he managed to 4 times. So his projected target for Tesla, I think, is like about $7,000 to $10,000. I can't remember the actual number, but he has a very high price target. So like me and many other Tesla investors, we all have a very high price target for Tesla to achieve in the near future. I will link this article from Tasmanian below. The reason why most of us around the world are not able to access the full 25 minutes interview because we are out of the US. So somehow Tasmanian managed to link the full video and embed it into this article, so I highly recommend you to go inside here and watch a billionaire speak about stocks. I mean, you want to learn from people who are successful. Ron Barron is the guy. He has amazing advice in this full 25 minutes video. I do not know whether this news is big news, but I'm just going to put it in. So Tesla started Model Y deliveries in Canada, and you can see the owners in Canada enjoying the deliveries of the Model Y. So basically, international deliveries of the Model Y has just started. The last thing I want to cover is Tesla stock gets 2 different downgrades from different donkeys. So when the downgrade happened, the stock price went down like that. So the downgrades came from analysts at Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. My advice to all investors is upgrades and downgrades happen all the time and without for much reasons. If you realize nothing fundamentally changed about Tesla and yet upgrades and downgrades will happen. These are just analysts doing the analyst job. To me, last time when I just started investing, I always took these people very seriously. But if you look at the analyst track records, you realize that they are usually like 50% correct. So you do a simple basic Google search on analyst probability, you realize they come back with pretty bad numbers below 50%. So always look at the company fundamentals and don't get too affected by these upgrades and downgrades. Concluding this video, I think it's going to be a boring week for Tesla, which is good. We can take this time to add positions if you are looking forward to an entry. Those that have enough shares, just do nothing. If there is some major correction, I do not see Tesla going below $830. In a few years, Tesla stock will be worth a lot more. So what you can do as an investor is just invest when Tesla has red days and go in at a cheaper price. Again, I appreciate those who help me like the video. It really helps a lot in the channel. And as always, invest safe.